Steve, you've announced your 24-man squad. Two call-ups today, one first time ever, Chris Hill, and Richie Myler's recalled. What's your thoughts on those two selections?
I just think Chris Hill's been outstanding. I think his selection in the dream team was, probably took everyone not by surprise, because I think he's played really well, but it's given some recognition. And certainly myself and the rest of the England staff have been watching his performances closely this year, and I think he deserves that opportunity. And it's a great story. He's come from the national leagues as Zach Hardaker has as well, but he's performed extremely well on the back of one full off season with the Warrington Wolves and obviously the rest of this season. So he's a great acquisition to our squad, and one that we're looking forward to seeing firsthand ourselves. Just what the kid is like. Richard Myler, he's going a different route. He's obviously got a little bit of recognition at an early age and has been away a little bit from us, but as well as his performances, I think the thing with Richard Myler is his when he got put back down to the England Knights, and I say put down in the nicest of terms there, it was a little bit of a demotion for himself. The way he conducted himself within that, the way he was a leader amongst the people of his own age, and the way he performed, and was a credit to him. So as well as his performances for Warrington this year, the way he's dealt with some disappointment has been a real key factor in Richard coming back into this group.
It'd be a massive test for the likes of Chris and Richie, but Chris in particular, when he's going to be rubbing shoulders with the likes of Sam Burgess and Kevin Sinfield. We've got the obviously South African trip coming up. Do you think that's going to really benefit him going into this next 12 months ahead of the World Cup?
Well, all the research I've done and all the people I've spoken to about him suggests he's a really good kid as well. Great personality and somebody who's really coachable, and I think he's done it a tough route to get to where he's got to, and I'm sure he'll just take every step as it comes. Jack Reed was very similar. Jack was very late coming into first team football at Brisbane and settled in really well last year and just fitted like a glove within our England group last year. So I expect Chris to do the same, and like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing him close up and first hand.
One of the interesting stats that I've seen, we've got 12 players that are going to be involved from the squad in this Saturday showpiece grand final, the biggest game of the year, going to be ripping into each other. Does that cause you concerns when they've got such a big game coming up?
Yeah, without a doubt. We decided, we knew we needed to pick the squad early. We got a flight out to South Africa next Wednesday. We needed people to understand where they were at. We didn't want them distracted from the grand final, so we've told them earlier in the week so they can concentrate on the grand final, but have some sort of preparation put in place for the following week. So we always knew there'd be some danger. We've got an England night squad what's preparing as well, so we've got some players who we can call into that and a couple of people on standby as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll come to that game unscathed. But in reality, when you look at there's 12 players involved, like you said, it's a reflection of where those two teams are in the competition and the wealth of English talent that they've both got.
And just looking at the injury situation, there are a number of players that are going to miss out this time. Two notable absentees from Australia, Jack Reed and Gareth Widdop, who's obviously just won the grand final out there. Is that quite frustrating that those two in particular aren't going to be involved?
I think there's obviously a few people who need fixing up. The bodies need fixing. It's a brutal sport that we play, and the number of off-season surgeries, is a high number throughout all the Super League competition. Disappointing, but if they're going to have it done, it's this year to get it done. It's World Cup year next year, so there's no holding back. We need to put everybody in the best possible position to be the very best they can be at the end of next season. So if that means some of our key personnel, including the couple that you've mentioned, having those operations now, then I'm all for that. That is very, very important for us. It's actually part of our preparation as well. We don't want those people waiting, till the middle of November before they get operated on, and then having to do the rehab and the recovery, and then try and get fit again for the start of the season. So we made some decisions a long time ago that if there were people in that situation, now was the time to have it done, because next year it's all hands on deck.
Two players arrested, Danny Maguire and James Roby. Why did you come to that decision?
Well, they've had a lot amount of football over a number of years, and James Roby, the position that he's playing in the 80 minutes, I think it's 2006 since he actually had a break, a genuine break, and I just think mentally that kid needs an opportunity away from the game at this moment in time to refresh him. One for our benefit, but obviously two for his own benefit and St Helens' benefit as well. So we know exactly about James, everything he can do. Dan is in a similar position. He's got a fair few bits and pieces, niggles, and he's had a few little injuries throughout the year. And again, he's only had one break, I think, since 2001 in terms of off-season. So it's probably best that Danny has a good off-season as well.
And just finally, where are you at the moment with the England captaincy? Obviously looking for a new captain with JP retiring in the summer. John Wilkin took over the mantle for the Exiles, but where are you at for World Cup year?
Oh, we've got plenty of strong candidates, that's what I will say, that's where we're at. But, and some of those candidates will be with us out in South Africa for the Autumn Internationals, and some may not be. But, we've got a wealth of people to pick from, which is really pleasing for me. But, we'll make some decisions for this tournament and moving forward, probably whilst we're out there in South Africa.
But finally, a massive year for the whole sport in this country. It's World Cup year, and at the end of it, a lot to look forward to.
There is. I think there's a fair bit of anticipation. I think both on and off the field. We obviously want to achieve lots of things on the field and lift the World Cup. I think off the field there's some anticipation as well about us putting on a great sporting event. And I think if we do it properly, we perform on and off the field, we certainly can go a step towards making rugby league a lot more recognisable throughout the whole of our country, as opposed to probably the strongholds where it's at now.